Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Mango, the GOAT. This is another mental liberation moment. This is the IIP. IIP stands for Involuntary Immigrants Podcast. You're welcome. God's greatest gift was that pussy. See, the story of Adam and Eve is a prime example. A man of doubt or rebel against his own father in the pursuit of some pussy he desired. So this is why the no vote, no fucking song, I'm bringing it up again, but this is why it really bothered me. Because in all actuality, what that song is about, it's about women prostituting herself for a political party. And there's no way around the fact of that song. That's what it is. So what makes it worse is we live in a pornographic, sex-driven culture. And as a lot of women try to horn themselves out by either saying things like, well, if a man does it, etc. A lot of women claim it's a form of empowerment, being this new found woman, this new woman. I own my sexuality. This is a con. This is a con they sold themselves to have fun in a moment without regret. See, the truth is, the more of a whore you become, the more you at the will of a man. See, the consumer is what keeps a business thriving. So when you become used, you become average. It's almost as when the new hot girl pops up on the scene, right? She shows her pussy in a video and it's trending for a while. Then after a few years, she just becomes less valuable. I mean, unless you're Kim Kardashian. They found a way to make that work. But an example of this is Alicia Keys versus Trina. I could have used Beyonce, but that's a bit unfair to Trina. But as a grown adult, who would you rather wife out of Alicia Keys or Trina? Both of them came out around the same time and this and that. But being all honest, right? Alicia Keys in her personal life could be all the whoring things that Trina rapped about. And Trina could be a complete saint in her personal life. The difference is Trina sold sex visually and verbally. And that's what she's known by. Now on to the consumer. Most young boys are always interested or curious about some pussy, right? Most heterosexual young boys, they're always interested and they just curious. I want to see what that pussy look like. I want to see what that pussy feel like. They always have that. There's nothing wrong with that. That's what puberty does, right? But the feminization of young men is one of the causes of lack of relationships. See, you have bass in your voice, big nuts, but your behavior is something you adopted from your mother. And in this culture, you see young men give the love and affection to their homies, their friends, that they should be given to a bitch. Homies over hoes, do the homie. Y'all remember that shit? Bitches ain't shit but hoes and trick. I forgot what it say. Suck or lick on my balls and suck the dick. That's the type of shit that we got from the music. And after being disregarded, women say, well, if I ain't shit but pussy, I'm gonna sell this pussy. And after that, the feminized heterosexual male becomes a client because he only bears witness to a whore and not a spouse, a potential lover, a woman. He don't see it as that. He see it as a bitch, a whore trick. See, this leads to another event. And this is where I'm probably going to offend a lot, but fatherlessness. See, a lot of black males grow up without their fathers. And in a lot of those scenarios, to cut it plain and dry, is because the father was shamed of this whore with good pussy he just fucked and nutted in, and he couldn't help. He just said, fuck it. Now, to prove my point, it's very fucking rare to hear a story from a single mother with a deadbeat baby daddy, and they were married or in a long-lasting relationship. When I say long-lasting, I mean like 1.5 years or longer. In fact, most of these situations end up being flings, one-night stands, where two parties wasn't careful at all. You see? So this is a product of our over-sexualized entertainment. The majority of our entertainment back then, like when your grandpeople was around, was about making love and relationships. I know people say like, well, shit, my granddaddy had had 10 children. Or my grandma, she had 10 children. They was fucking. Yeah. But they did that within a spousal relationship. You see, now our entertainment back then was making love and relationships and, oh, I want to love on you, baby, between the sheets, baby. Oh, da, da, da. And now our entertainment is about being a throat goat. On the beat, jump on the dick. Skeet. Bands will make her dance. At the red light, twerking on the headlights. Bust that pussy open, bitch. That's what our music is. And everything I mentioned that's heard today is a domino effect. I couldn't tell you what came first, the chicken or the egg. But to my sisters, as a person, you have the freedom to be a whore, hoe, thought about it, dirty foot, or a lady. Just recognize what comes with the territory. If that's not who you really are, don't do it for the moment trying to match your ratchet ass friends. Because some roads travel down you can't reverse on. And I ain't leaving out the young brothers out there without fathers or father figures. You may not want to believe this, but there's a very high chance you got some bitch-made tendencies. But admitting you have a problem is the first step to getting rid of a problem. Now, you may not think you have a problem, but bitch-made tendencies is like a drug addiction. You think you got it under control until you see how it affects the people around you. So it's really just the scenario in which you come up in. You don't have a father or father figure. You end up learning manhood a lot of times from TV or what your mama telling you a man should be. And a lot of time, that's the worst place to get your information. Women not even good at giving other women advice. So she can't tell you how to be a man. That's the truth of it. She's guessing. She could tell you what she learned from her father, but that don't seem like it worked that good, seeing how the situation she's in a lot of cases. So that's all I had for today. Thank y'all for listening. Blessings.
Do you remember writing in your diary that freedom is the freedom to say 2 and 2 make 4?
Yes.
How many fingers am I holding up, Winston?
4.
And if the party says it is not 4 but 5, then
4.
180. How many? 190. How many fingers, Winston?
4. 5. 4. Anything you like. Only stop the pain. Stop.
Involuntary. Done contrary to or without choice. Involuntary.
Immigrant.
Done contrary
Definition
to
1.
or without choice.
Person who immigrates.
Involuntary.
Immigrant.
Done contrary
Definition
to
1.
involuntary.
Person who comes
Done contrary to or without choice. Done contrary to or without choice. Done contrary to or without choice.
Definition 1. Immigrant. Definition 1. Unknown. Person who established. Unknown. Unknown. Established.
Trying to free your mind.
What white people have to do is try to find out in their own hearts why it was necessary to have a nigger in the first place. But if you think I'm a nigger, it means you need it. The question you gotta ask yourself, the white population of this country's gotta ask itself. North and South, because it's one country, and for a Negro, there is no difference between North and South. There's just a difference in the way they castrate you.
Who taught you to hate yourself?
Involuntary. Done contrary to or without choice.
Immigrant. Definition 1. A person who immigrates. Definition 2. A plant or animal that becomes established where it was previously unknown.